Mac Buckley here with the UCCS Athletic Network. Here we have head coach Lynn Plett of the UCCS women's basketball team, and it is the winter break right now at UCCS. And coach, just coming back from Christmas holidays, what was your favorite part of those Christmas holidays so far?
We were able to have the whole family together. So our kids and their spouses came with four little ones. So the house is still alive. I mean, the house is still erect. We didn't mess up too much stuff, but it was pretty active. So it was fun. It was really good.
That's great to hear about those kids and just spending time with the family. That's really what it's all about. But now down to business. You got a game on Friday night against Western State. And really just talking about that matchup, you have come off of 4 wins here at home in the Gallagher Event Center. And coming up against Western State, they're going to be a really heavy defensive-sided team. Right now they're 5th in the conference as far as scoring defense. Coach, how will you find that mental focus on defense out there?
Well, hopefully the biggest thing is they play 10 kids, so they go pretty deep. It's a little bit more difficult to say, okay, watch 23 or watch 24 because they don't necessarily have one player or 2 players or even 3 players that are by far their best scorers. So everybody can contribute from their team, all 10 of them, and they play all 10 of them pretty close to equal amount of time. So the individual matchups may be a little bit more of a challenge to decide on how do we guard this player, how do we guard that player. But the biggest thing, too, for us is to make sure that we try to keep them in front of us and not let them get to the basket as much as possible and do a good job of not letting them score in transition. But on the other hand, that's what we want to do. So it's kind of a cat and mouse game. Hopefully we can score in transition but not let them counter on transition as well.
Very true, Coach. And then also talking about this being a heavy defensive-minded team, what's your strategy as far as penetrating the paint and then driving to that basket with that 4-1 system you have going on?
Well, our philosophy is to get there as much as possible, but in practical terms, I'm not sure we're figuring that out real well at this point. So we're still trying to encourage our perimeter players to really look for those openings and look for the opportunity to get to the basket. I think we settle too many times for either a jump shot or a three-point shot. But I think our players understand that, and they're working on that too. So it's the idea of really trying to see where the gap is and really be ready to penetrate and have the confidence to penetrate. I think that's probably the biggest challenge I think that we've had all year long is to help them understand that they have the ability and to give them the confidence to be able to get to the basket, get to there, because we need to get more free throws. We don't shoot as many free throws as our opponents, and we need to. That's an area we need to take advantage of.
Correct, Coach. Last game wasn't very heavy on the free throws, but coming into this game against Western State at Gallagher Event Center, you've really started a new system with this team. It's implemented, and it seems like you've created a lot of success so far. It's the 10th win now for the women's basketball team at home that they will be defending that 10-game win streak, if you will. So looking at what you're doing for this team and building a program, not just a team, how do you feel your start is so far this season?
Progressive. I think we're taking steps in a positive way each week. It remains to be seen tomorrow night on how much of those 9 days were effective, either positive or negative for our players on when they come back. Because we'll see, sometimes you have a tendency to come back really strong. Sometimes you've lost a little conditioning. And we've had a few kids that have been sick and haven't been really well over break too. So that has an impact as well too, to see what kind of endurance that they still have too. So hopefully we'll be able to pick up where we left off and continue to progress with our transition more than anything else.
Coach, talking about that matchup, there's Harley Williams on the Western State team, and right now she's had 15 steals so far and about 4 blocks on the season. With that defense still focused strategy, how is that intensity going to factor as far as both ends being defensively strong?
Well, it's again, it's like I said earlier, it's hard to determine, and we're not going to really focus on one player or that type of thing too. So it's more the idea of making sure that we're in a good help side, and that's kind of what we worked on today in practice too. To make sure that we're moving to the ball, make sure that we're in the right position defensively to stop their penetration and gaps. I know what they do, have a little bit of an idea of what some of their sets are and some of their continuity offense and things that they do too. So I think we've got a little bit of an idea on how to defend that, and we worked on that today, and that's what we'll continue to work on, touch up a little bit tomorrow in our shoot around time too. But for the most part, it's more about being in position and making sure that we're helping each other through on the screens, on the off screens in particular, and not getting caught up by just watching the ball instead of being in position where we can see the ball in our man at all times.
Coach, really appreciate you describing the defense really in depth right there. Mac Buckley with the UCCS Athletics with head coach Lynn Plett of your UCCS women's basketball team. Hey, Coach, thanks for your time and good luck on Friday night.
Thanks, man.